So we're just going to pick up where we left off yesterday. Just to review, these are the 4 equations. When it comes to working backwards, you're most likely going to be using this equation, and this equation and this equation are specifically going to be used when you're given the new total and asked to work backwards. So that's what you're going to use when you're given the new total and asked to work backwards, where this little bit of the equation right here is what you will use if you're given the tip or tax or discount and you're asked to work backwards. So kind of confusing. I think that the hardest part of these kind of problems is trying to figure out, like, you know, what am I being asked to do and how do I use what I know to get there. So let's work through a couple more examples, and again, hopefully you see these. So Sarah paid $18.60 in sales tax and tip. So this is not her new total, it's just telling us what she paid in sales tax and tip. The sales tax is 11% and she tipped 20%. What was the price? Of her dinner before tip and tax. Okay, so again, this one's kind of confusing because we were not given her new total. We were given the percent that she paid, or the amount that she paid in tip and tax and the percent. So we're going to work backwards given that information to find the original total. And so since we were not given the new total, we were given the tip, the dollars extra that we paid, we're going to use this little bit of the equation right here to solve. First thing we are going to do, though, is add together. So step 1 is going to be add tip and tax. So this will be the total extra percent that she paid. So we would have 11% plus 20% is 31%. So she added on a percent of 31. So step 2 is we're going to work backwards to solve. And we're going to work backwards to solve for our original total. So we are trying to figure out her original total. But when her original total was multiplied by 31%, it gave us $18.60. So when I work backwards, I'm going to do 1860 divided by 31%, and that's going to give me my new, or my original total. And if I were to do that algebraically, I would divide both sides by 31%, which would give me original total is equal to 1860 divided by 31%. So if I were to do that, I would get as my answer $60. Again, I just know that because I used a calculator and did this ahead of time. So when you were to divide in your calculator 1860 divided by 0.31, that is what you would get. Okay, next one. A store has 25% off coats with this discount. The price of one coat is $34.50, and then they asked what is the original cost. Okay, and so for this one, since we're trying to work backwards to find the original cost of the coat, and we were given the new total of the coat, we are going to be using our working backwards equation, the only equation we can use in this kind of problem to work backwards. And so we're going to be using this equation right here. So the equation we're going to use is original cost, which is what we're trying to solve, times 100% minus 25. And that gave us $34.50. This here is going to be 75%. So in terms of the original coat, we are paying for 75% of it because we got to save that 25%. So to solve that, I'm going to do $34.50 divided by 75%, and that will give me my original cost. And if I were to use my calculator to do this, $34.50 divided by 0.75, I would get $46 as my original cost. Okay, let's do a few more. Brandon's Furniture Store. Buys a sofa at a wholesale of $97. If the markup is 40%, what is the markup for the sofa? So here they're not asking for the new total of the sofa, they're just asking what's the markup, so what's the extra that they're going to pay. So we're going to use our equation of just finding the extra, not the new total. So we're going to do our original cost times the percent. And when I multiply those together, if I were to use a calculator, I would get $33.80 as my markup. So that's the extra that I'm going to have to pay. And then they didn't ask us, but if we wanted to, then we could use this and add it to our original cost. Okay, let's do one last problem. Lewis earns a base salary of $150. Every week with an additional 14% commission on everything he sells. Lewis sold $6,050 worth of items last week. What was Lewis's total pay? Okay, so this one's a little bit funky. So we want to figure out what commission he makes and want to add it to the $150. So let's first figure out what commission he's going to make with the $6,050. So he makes 14% of this. So if I multiply those together, I would get $847. Then we're not just trying to figure out what's the extra he gets paid. We want to add it to his base salary. So we're going to add that to his $150. And he would from there get, let's see, what do I get when I add those together? If we do 847 plus 150, he would make $997 as his total for that week. So I hope that you encounter one of these 7 problems that I worked through so that you have less to do in Khan Academy.